Today, we're joined with a super special guest, a friend of the show. Truly, that's why we're doing this. Two black runners and friends all throughout. And it's nice to be able to end with a true legend of the sport. She's been at it for a while now, doing it now in the marathon, has won so many US championships, has wrote a book how she did it, like an amazing and an author as well. And is going on to just doing so many things with Saucony and everything beyond. Join us the podcast today, Molly Huddle. Molly, how are you doing?
Hey guys, hey Josh, hey Aaron. Happy to be here. Wow, what a day. I think those all final days are just like, I can't handle the back-to-back. I can't handle it. I love it. But that's why I feel like I'm a little bit like, ooh, where am I right now?
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. It's been just a crazy Olympics all around, but having all finals, seeing a jump off, the 4x4s, like Olympic records and majority of the races today, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Craziness.
Molly, besides today, what's been two of your favorite events? Let's limit it to two because we got a lot to talk about. What's been two of your favorite events besides today?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to say the women's 1500 from today. I just felt like that was built up so much this season. And you just had so many amazing players in that game. So many people doubling. How will they play off against the Americans who are running so well? And Jess Hall dropped that. I just could not wait to watch the women's 1500. So I have to include that one. And then, I feel like the men's 10K kicked it off with a bang. I felt like after watching Grant medal, I was like, hope is alive. Anything's in game in any event. Anything could happen.
It hyped so much up. We're hyped. Let's get into it. I'm Joshua Potts, Mr. Pottsville, always joined with the brother with the same mother, Aaron Potts, Super Hot Potts, and you're watching and listening to
Two black runners and friends, let's do it again. And we joined by Molly, the super OG. Hey!
And you really got that down, Aaron. The song, the whole throughout the entire 9 days, you really made something of that. I'm proud of you, bro.
I'm a creative mind. Some people don't really realize that all the time. I got some creativity up there too, but you can't be yelling Two Black Tuesday when we doing it every other day. So we had to switch it up a little bit. So I hope everyone enjoyed that.
No, I feel you. But let's go right into it, and we'll go with the event that ended it off, and then we'll get into some of these crazy distance events. The women's 4x4. Crazy, just U.S. dominance at full display. Definitely when they're coming down that last 100, I was thinking the same thing, world record, is this going to happen? But a lineup of Shamir Little, Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni, Gabby Thomas, and Alexis Holmes. Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni split a 47-71, and then Alexis Holmes split a 48-78 to close it out with a 3:15:27 for an American record. Just amazing performance for these women. Also on the men's side, USA does win there as well. And it was a super close race. I want to go to Molly first. Just Molly, you being the two-time Olympian, how hype is it to be there when America does win the 4x4 and just the energy around just these super teams that we constantly put together?
The hype is crazy. The athlete section is always so supportive. Everyone wants to come watch because we know that the medals are possible. And so it's so exciting to be there when it happens. Those women were just incredible. I want, make a Barbie out of each one of them. That's how legendary that was. And it just, yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of looking more at the second and third medal spots because I was like, this is tied up front.
Yeah.
But yeah, you love to see everyone celebrating afterwards and just it's relief and happiness on that last day. So it was just awesome.
Wait, that's a great idea though. If to make Barbies out of the relay winners, that actually would be amazing. Yeah.
Icons get a Barbie made, so let's do it. Mattel, I'm asking. right now.
Also, so you mentioned the team aspect of it all. When you're there, are you all watching the medal count like closely to see how many people have golds and stuff? Like, does each like Olympic team really pay attention to that, or is that just something at home we're looking at?
I think like it's definitely kept like I'm not looking at like a medal chart if I'm there racing. I'm kind of just like blinders on. But like there's celebrations for the medalists. Like someone will make a sign and like hang it on your door, like in college if you win a medal. And it's actually crazy. Like years like this where the U.S. has a really successful meet, you feel like left out if you don't medal. So it's
I
just
feel that.
like it's just crazy atmosphere. Yeah. I would love to know how this medal count compares actually to past years because it felt, I don't know. I don't know if I was just paying closer attention. It just felt like every time you turned around, there was something amazing happening for Team USA.
And I feel like too in Tokyo, it was really disappointing for a lot of our sprint stars. Like a lot of our guys and gals didn't have the performances that they needed on that day, or just slipped up, and we weren't walking home with gold medals. And now to be walking away with so many golds is like it feels different, you know? It feels different. It
It
feels like
does.
it, but like we still got a lot in Tokyo, but it just definitely feels it feels awesome, you know. It feels like, man, we back on top, or just like we're still on
Yeah.
top. You know what I mean? Like we're
Well,
reclaiming that throne.
one thing too, back to like the team aspect of it all, because of COVID, we didn't even get these moments where we see the teams together, like rooting when they see Cole win and when they see Quincy and they're in the room together getting hyped. Like we didn't even get to like experience seeing that on TV. So I felt like this year the team felt a little bit more united, but it wasn't because they weren't in 2021. It's because they weren't allowed to be. They weren't allowed to be. And I think that adds so much more to the Olympic experience and the viewing experience, and it makes everybody really want to root, for Team USA.
No, for sure.
Yeah, totally. I was saying before you guys started, like, I felt bad for anyone whose first Olympics was Tokyo just because it was such a stressful looking experience and, like, so not the typical experience. So I was hoping a lot of people made it back to have this experience.
I want to talk about the men's 4x4 too, because I think well, not I think, we are like in the middle of Letsile Tobogo really becoming a star. You know, he got this gold medal, but I'm really interested how he's going to look going into the world championships with all this confidence. Like he ran a 300-meter world best earlier this year, all the way in February. Now a 200-meter gold medal. He's splitting 43.04 on this anchor leg trying to run down Rai Benjamin in the 4x4. You ran 40, you split 43.04. Wait, that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
this, we are, I don't, LA 2028, like I'm kind of scared because let's see, like, he's really coming to his own, and that 4x4 has really solidified that to me. So I think we just got to talk about that for a second because he's going to be scary, you know?
I mean, he looks great. He definitely. They got the baton at the same time, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be tough." Like, but Rye being the hurdler, I'm like, he's stronger than him, so he should be able to hold him off. But we'll see. But I think you make a good point, Joshua. This whole year we've been talking about Tobogo, and we're like, is he gonna be that guy that can he win the one and the two? Like I remember having conversations about that earlier in the year. It's like, what is he gonna be able to do? But and he's so young, only 21 years old. I still think though we gotta wait for our guy Arion Knighting. He didn't have he had a lot of things going on this year. He's a young superstar as well. So I think that's someone in LA that is gonna be right there with him. But Tobogo is definitely coming into his own, especially with everything he had to deal with. The passing of his mother this year, like that. I couldn't imagine having to come back and compete after all of that.
No, yeah, it's absolutely just an amazing story for you, Molly. What has it been seeing the rise of Let's See Lake Tobogo? It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like I was really nervous watching Tobogo versus Rye. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like how fast is Rye? He's a 400 hurdler, so I know he's strong, but like what is his speed?" So that was like I was on the edge of my seat for that. That was amazing. And Yeah, Botswana, like USA versus Botswana on the 4x4. Like, I think this is going to happen again. I'm calling it. I think it's going to be this team versus that team again next year. So, we have Quincy Hall. Like, we have other
That's
people.
true.
We got
And
backup.
Quincy.
So, but it's going to be fun to watch. That's for sure. I like to see new players in the game. So, good new rivalry.
No, absolutely. And to see it from like an African nation, which we don't see all the time, and especially what African nations have been doing just in the short sprints too, has been phenomenal. And we know African nations usually dominant in this longer distances, and we could see that continued dominance. And I think we saw the greatest to ever do that today. Faith Kipyegon becoming the first man or woman to win three straight Olympic gold medals in the 1500 meter with a time of 3:51.29, a new Olympic record. Right behind her was Jessica Hole of Australia in a 3:52.56, and Georgia Bell of Great Britain in a 3:52.61 in third. Amazing race in the women's 1500. Just overall, our Americans, Nikki Hiltz finished 3:56.38 in seventh, and Ellie St. Pierre in eighth place with a 3:57.52. Molly, you said this is one of your most exciting races you're looking forward to. This was definitely one of the races I was most excited to see as well. Just like, what was your reaction to all the the cinema that we seen? That was a movie.
Yeah, well, that was the question everyone wanted to know. Was Faith going to do this? Was she going to a three-peat? She doubled in the 5K, so you're like, she's kind of tired, and um, it's her event. It just she claimed it. It's her event and it was fast. It was everything. CJ went out really hard, so I was kind of like, ooh, like I don't know who's gonna blow up and who's gonna be smart. So that was kind of cool to see. Like some of the like Laura Mura was like out of the race,
Yeah.
and then I think she
Yeah.
actually just judged it better. Like I was like, oh, she must be sick. And then I was like, no, that was a 59 or 58 or whatever. I was like, oh, she's fine. She just missed a medal too, and yeah, it was. I kind of had figured Faith and Hall were like medal shots, and then that third spot would be like, I was hoping like Ellie or Nikki.
Yeah, I could sneak
Um,
in there.
yeah, but it was going to be someone like an opportunity for someone for that bronze, and it happened to be Belle, which she's had an amazing story. I think she like came late to track, like came late to running, so anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah.
I was also, yeah, when Gudolf took it out like that, I was like, oh, what are we about to see? What are we? First of all, for some reason, I missed this. I did not know that Gudolf. I didn't watch the prelims because they were so early in the morning. But I did not know that Gudolf was attempting to do the triple. I
Hmm.
didn't know that. I was like, oh, she's in this one too.
She's doing the CFON, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, dang, Sifon made that a thing now.
Yeah, she
It's like,
made it
oh,
a
this
thing
is,
now. It's like
yeah. I
the
was like,
challenge, the CFON challenge. You're like,
For
gotta do
real.
that.
yeah, I was like, what? So when she took it out that hard and knowing that she's ran like 350 before, I was like, oh man, could this potentially be like another sub 350 or world record race? And then to your point, Laura Mir, I feel like has race faith more than anyone. So she played it smart. I was like, okay, maybe she's just like, all right, I've been in these races where it goes crazy fast. I know they're gonna come back, but to see a 59 that first lap and then 203, that was that was like pretty wild. But hats off to Faith. She's undoubtedly the GOAT. I mean, she's only like 30. I feel like it's definitely possible she could come back and do this again. I think that's a real possibility. Of course, she's gonna have to beat Jessica Hole. Hats off to her, who had such an amazing season this year. Just breaking, really a breakthrough season for
Yeah.
Jessica Hole. She's always been really good, but I did not see her running 350 this year. She was just breaking records. And yeah, so huge kudos to her. And then Georgia Bell as well. Great Britain, man. Like they're doing great in middle distance right now. They definitely have figured something out on both the men's and the women's side. So definitely, I love Faith Kipyegon. So and I love the 15 favorite event. So it was just exciting to see someone break history.
It has to be like for Jess Hole and the risk that like she took, I believe the leave like Union Athletics, getting trained from Pete Julian and being trained by her father now. I think she's living in Australia too. I'm not too sure, but like it has to be so encouraging. I have to feel like for the other women in the field, like Nikki Hiltz and Ellie St. Pierre and everyone, to see these like major breakthroughs from these women, to be now so competitive with Faith, like I like before
Yeah.
we are going into this, like when we were talking to Aaron, I was like, I wouldn't be super surprised if like Jess Holt pulled it off and like beat Faith. Like it
Hmm.
would be crazy and it would be a major upset, but if it happened, like I would believe it now. Absolutely. Just for you, Molly, the evolution of just like women's running overall, and especially at the middle distances, like it's been wild. And what have you just observed from the outside? Well, the inside, I mean, not outside.
Well, I'm definitely outside the 1500.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the low 350s we're seeing, I'm just like, and how often it's happening. Like 355 or through what didn't make the final at USA's, wasn't like 357 left out of the final at USA's or something like
Yeah.
crazy like that. Like it's just everything's faster. We know that. And then I think just like people aren't afraid to go for it. Like it's not seen as like impossible. Like it used to be like, oh, it has to be a tactical race, for someone who's not dominant to medal. And now it's just like, yeah, no, like people are just getting in line and going for it.
And I really hope too, like what you said, Aaron, like Faith becoming the GOAT. Like I think, I feel like every single time, growing up, people would be all like, El Garouge, El Garouge, like y'all need to look this dude up. You need to look this dude up. Everybody now, cross country coaches across the U.S. tell people to look up Faith Kipyegon. Like tell people to look up her races. Tell people to look up her story, because what she just did was just crazy. I think it's crazy, Aaron.
No, it is. It's like we were saying, she's doing like Usain Bolt level dominance type of things. Like you don't see, it's hard to dominate in the 1500. It's hard to win back to back, let alone three times. Like you rarely see that. We may not, it's not like Faith is gonna lose in 24 or retire before then, and then the next person is gonna win three times. That would be very, very unlikely. So she is that girl, and she's gonna move up to the 5K at some point, and she's not going anywhere.
Well, I think she's
Like,
like number 3 all time in the 5K. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, and she has the world record. She's a three-time Olympic champion. I'm not sure how many world championships she has off the top of my head, but like she can get that. She could be the first person to break 14. I know Gudolf is the one that has the world record right now, but she
Yeah.
could be the first person to break 14 and break 350. I don't know how you can say anyone is better than her at that point.
Molly,
The
how
day
you?
I see 13 something something, I'm just gonna like pass out. But it will happen.
It is, and the women's world record is gonna it's gonna get closer to like 345 at some point. I feel like I think Faith could run like 48, maybe I don't know, especially with more women running like
Yeah,
350. Like
challenging her.
Yeah.
yeah, like it's gonna get pushed further below 350 like soon. It feels like it's gonna happen soon.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, let's talk about this 5,000 though, because Grant Fisher, like, dude, this dude is becoming must watch. He already really was must watch TV, but it's becoming more and more right now. But first, Jacob Ingebrigtsen, bouncing back, 3 straight global 5,000-meter championships now that he has, getting in now in the Olympics, running 13:13. Ronald Kimwoy right behind him from Kenya in 13:15, and Grant Fisher finishes in third place. Like he was doing his same routine of sticking in second, third place the entire race, and then as the race started to move up faster, got pushed up towards the back, and they made that one hard move with about 600 meters to go when Gerber Hewitt went to the front, when August Gerber Hewitt went up to the front, and like Grant got boxed, he got left, but he stayed patient, went around to the outside last 200-meter and almost took away a silver, but another bronze medal. Uh, Molly Huddle, like you said, like he kicked off the games for everybody and is closing it out with a bronze on the distance side. What do you just think about his performance here in Tokyo? I mean, not
I
Tokyo,
mean,
Paris.
to see a US distance runner get two medals in the distance events, like I just didn't think we'd see the day. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Like, have we ever medaled in the 5K? Like the 5K is that one event that just like always gets away from us, men, women both. Like it's just so
Yes.
hard. You have to be so fast and so strong. So I was just like, I don't know if he can do this. Like 10K is one thing, but like it's going slow. And then in that last lap, I was like, oh no, Grant went backwards. Like, well, he's done. And then like 100 years to go, he's picking people off. He just actually timed his kick really smart. So, I mean, master class. Like I don't like he's gonna be in for LA. He's gonna be looking for different color
Well,
metal. Like it's crazy.
yeah, and it's just like we've all known Grant to be this talented for so long, so I feel like Grant is just such a nice dude, you know. So like he has so many people rooting for him, and for him to finally just get those medals, I know that probably feels very like validating to him because we all, we all put him on this pedal. We all push him up like, no, Grant, you're the one, you're the one. I know he's believes he's the one, but getting medals in both probably feels great. And like to your point, Molly, now it's like, okay, I've already broke through the barrier. Now let's go. I could win this thing. And I think that probably played into today, like where he was like, no, I'm just as good as these guys. I don't gotta make the move when they make the move. Like I'll make my move when it's time and I'll be okay. Cause I think back to Joshua, was that in 22 when he got fourth in the 10K? It
Yeah.
was like similar, like he came all the way back, kicking down people. So like it was cool to it was cool to just see him get another medal. But like to your point, it's very rare. It's very rare to see an American get a medal in the 5K or the 10K. So to do it in two, Joshua, he's
Yeah.
getting into the Galen Rupp,
Oh, he's there.
category.
He's there. Jason saying in the chat that that's the first American the medal in the 5 and the
Ever.
10. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
I was reading more just on his move too, and like I didn't realize that he went back to train with his high school coach,
Yeah.
Mike Scannell, and like reading that his coach lives in Phoenix, I believe. It has a high school team in Phoenix, and he would fly out to go to Park City for a couple like for a week or so and like sleep in Grant's basement at times and like it just went all in, just make sure that he had a coach that was there at times and he would go back and coach his high school team. Like the things that he's done over this past year is really just crazy, and for it all to like come together in one is like it's low-key like a dream. It's a dream, like it just doesn't happen.
His high school team must have been going crazy watching and like can you
Yeah.
imagine like not listening to your coach after that? Like he's
For
got an
real.
easy coming up.
For real, like Brad,
For-
this man just medaled in both events. But then I want to talk about Jacob too. He wins the 5,000 meter. He did the 15.5 for the past three global championships. We're talking about this after he lost the 1500. Aaron brought it up. Jacob's just a 5K guy running the 1500. Like, you agree, Molly?
It looked really easy for him. Like I think he was just biding his time. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what his thoughts are about the 10K, but like I think 510 would have been a better double for him actually after seeing how like what his strengths are right now, but um maybe for LA, that's what he'll do.
I can see that. I think he doesn't. I mean, who wants to run the 10K? Most people would try to avoid running the 10K as long as possible. So he's like, "Hey, man, I'm running 326, coach. Like,
Yeah,
I don't have to do it. I don't have to do it yet."
but he could
But
easily win it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like wouldn't you
I
like
agree.
easy
I
goal?
agree.
He maybe likes the challenge. Maybe he likes the challenge.
Because I think he kicks off really good. In the 5K, he always kicks good. Like at Worlds in Oregon and Budapest last year and today, like he can outkick all of those guys. When it goes up to the 10, it's low-key just going to be even easier to outkick those guys, especially if it's slow. And I'm sure he can gain the
Well,
strength to do it.
this is a long term look, but I feel like Jakob is someone who I could see even going all the way up to the marathon. he could
Hmm.
try and do a Kipchoge. Like when he has an Olympic gold in the 15, you know, and I know he from 2021, and you know he wants like the world record, and I could see him being. He just seems like the person that kind of like a Stefan Hassan, like he wants to take on every
Challenge.
single challenge. He's like, yeah, I know I could probably win the 10K, but I want to win in this 15, and then I could see him doing the 15 5 double, then the 5 10, and then he's gonna be doing the marathon. Maybe he'll try and do something. He's just gonna always try and do like crazy things. I feel like
Totally.
Before we over from the five, I did have this thought too. Like Graham Blanks finished ninth in this race.
he
Parker
looked
Valby,
good.
yeah, he did. He looked really good. Parker Valby, was it yesterday? She finished 12th, or was it higher up than that, or was it like 12th place? So she finished super well. And then Nico Young finished about 12th place too in the 10K. All these athletes ran in the NCAA season. It doesn't usually. I tried to look it up from like past Olympic trials. There's not a lot of men and women like that are in the NCAA season that year that compete at the Olympic Games. Like that's a different concept.
Juliet too, Joshua.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, Juliet as well. But like especially for the 5 and 10, I feel like that's extremely rare. Molly, could you think of any other athlete that has done that? And just like what is it about this change in these young athletes, do you think?
Yeah, like comes I don't have like everybody's name in my head. I think Shalane left college early. She made the team when she was a junior, I think. But like, yeah, I probably missed other people if that happened. But it is like the thing you usually think when, or Kim Smith too, I think made a team in college.
Okay.
But like you usually watch them and it's like, oh, they're a little tired from the season, but maybe they were tired, but they ran amazing. Like they did not run like they were over their peak to me. So that's impressive to be racing, that schedule, especially Juliet. Like the 800, you're just like, gotta run regionals, gotta peak for NCAAs, gotta go to Olympic trials. Now you're coming to the Olympics. Like it's just a long, long peak season.
I don't even know how you go back to school after that. Like we were talking about just going back to normal life to being like,
Yeah.
I don't know, Stanford probably starts school within a month or so
Does
or
she do
so.
cross country?
I
I don't
think
think
she
no,
does.
they don't. She
She
No?
doesn't
did
do
Foot Locker when
cross.
she was in high school. I
Yeah,
remember seeing her at Foot Locker.
but they don't do like her and Roisin. They don't do cross country
Okay.
Okay, that's
at
good. They need a
Stanford.
break.
Yeah, they definitely they need a break. But I'm pretty sure Graham is just graduated and Parker just graduated as well. But I think it's really just encouraging for we had this such a great performance here that like it's only gonna keep on going up for American distance running. Like to have such good performances in their first global championship. I think especially with Parker Valby, because that's someone who hasn't really even raced that many people and now she's
Mhm.
performing better and better on this global stage. All right, we'll move on though, because we can get stuck on that. The men's 800 meter. This was
One more thing
oh, go
though. One
ahead. Go
more
ahead, Aaron. Go
thing.
ahead.
I want to one more thing. We're gonna see all those. Remember those names that Joshua just named off? Because like all of them, LA to come. But I want to shout out Edwin Kurgat taking seventh place. First guy to ever come on to like the podcast with us
Facts.
back in the day. He went to Iowa, was an NCAA champion in cross country, and he's been having just an amazing year. He runs with UA now, made the team for Kenya, and he was in the race competitive. So if he's listening ever, just shout out Ed. We've been watching you. You're killing it.
All right, the men's 800 though. 141.19. I think that's really like that's kind of it. 141.19, 141.20, and
It's crazy.
141.50. Like and 141.67 for Bryce Hoppel off the podium for American record. But the Emmanuel Wanyonyi wins it from Kenya, 141.19. Marco A. Rope right behind him. Sajadi from Algeria in third. This race was amazing. Like I don't know how they're making 141 seem so easy, Molly. Like I'm confused.
Yeah, it's a fast track, fast shoes, fast people. I don't know. What's the world record again?
140 not 140.91.
Okay. Well, we'll see if that lasts this
What?
season, but that was crazy. We're a half Canadian household, so we were yelling loud for Arop. But yeah, Bryce, like as soon as he crossed the line, I was like, did he get the American record? Because like that was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they announced that he did. So close to the podium. He ran so well. Like if you make the final V8, like you have a shot. So
Yeah, and he ran like he went on at 50. He went on at 50 point right with him. Was not afraid of the heat at all. Ran very tactically sound. So I know he has to be disappointed not getting a medal, but to come away with that national record when Donovan Brazier ran 141 or whatever the record
142.
it was 142. Yeah, he's the first American under
142.6. Yeah.
he's the first American under 142. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
mm,
when Donovan was running that, we were like, that's insane. Or even that world record race when Simmons and Solomon ran 142, we were like, wow, that's crazy. Now 141 starting to feel more like 143. Like,
No, yeah. I think because they did the 141 off a 50-second split, which is insane. But like I'm pretty Radisha when he ran the 140, it was a 48 split, right? And
mm.
I'm pretty
that's absolute that's this
if it's not it
no,
was
that's
if it's not it was
disgusting. That's
49. It was
absolutely
definitely it
disgusting.
was definitely like
What?
so like I think especially Emmanuel, I think he's gonna be the one to do it, and because he was so young when he like first came onto the scene and was running so well, and now he's just getting so much more comfortable running these 141s, like, and be able to come through doing that 50, like he's just going to be next level. But I'm like you, Molly. I'm not half Canadian, but when my household's not half Canadian, but I love Marco. So I think he has potential to break that world record as well because he's just such a great athlete and someone that can do it. Like the way that he even shifted his race today, he went to the back. He didn't go to the front, and like how he won world championships last year
Well,
and was still in
Mhm.
contention.
it wasn't even like it was kind of almost a kind of tactical 141 in a way. Like
Yeah,
getting
that's
in
how I
position.
feel.
It wasn't like a crazy strung out like fast race. It was still like you got to be in the right positions at the right time, which was kind of wild. But I'm kind of shook that you said he went out in 48. I didn't realize that. Like
Bro, I'm pretty sure.
I
I'm pretty sure someone
That was
else said.
like the old days too, like pre shoot.
yeah.
Like wow.
Oh,
And he did that in the Olympic
49,
final.
49-28 was his first slot.
So okay, that's still pretty disgusting. Um, and that's like a world record where I was like, bro, we're not gonna see this go down forever. But I don't know. I still
No records are
140,
safe anymore. No
yeah.
records are safe anymore.
140 just still breaks my mind though. Like I'm just like, how can you run like people are edging closer to 139? What's 30? Like I just
Yeah, yeah,
that seems unreal. It doesn't
yeah,
sound like a real thing. How could
It
you run
doesn't sound like
130?
an 800 time. Yeah, you're like, what event was
yeah.
that?
Yeah, like
It's like
you ran
that's not a it's
600?
like yeah, that's your 600s. Like I thought you were
Yeah,
professional. Like you're at
that's
139.
crazy.
No, yeah, that's absolutely insane. All right, we're gonna talk about these 100 hurdles real quick before we get to this marathon. Main thing I want to say about the 100-meter hurdles before y'all get into it, just here's your reaction. We're gonna have to start putting more respect on these short hurdlers. Like straight up, we're gonna have to put more respect on these short hurdlers. Masai Russell, she got the dub today. She won it. I believe it was like 12:33. It doesn't matter what she did. She won the race. She won the race. She's just out of college. Just out of college. She has a collegiate record. She has 51,000 subscribers on YouTube and has been doing YouTube since about 2018. She has a sponsorship with Gymshark. Like she's a star. And then there's Grant Holloway. You already know he's one of the greatest hurdlers of all time. Hasn't lost a 60-meter hurdles race since like 2017. Like literally has the world record in that, and like about to get the world record in the 110 hurdles. Has Olympic gold. We have to popularize, like give this man Grant a watch deal. He wants a watch deal. Give Masai Russell a watch deal. Like these two individuals are stars. That's my soapbox. I just want to say that.
Well,
Congratulations, Masai Russell. I thought Jasmine Camacho Quinn was about to get her for a second, but like, congratulations.
I think there's a like to your point too, Joshua. Okay, we think about um Lele Johnson
Yeah.
as well, even Jasmine Camacho Quinn. There's just like even Toby Usman. I know she wasn't in the race today, But that's just to your point. There's a lot of personalities, like, and then on the men's side, when we had, when Devin Allen was in it and stuff like that, and yeah, it's easy to get behind. So it's a straightaway race. We can treat it a little bit close, like more like the 100, and it could bring so much more fun and hype to it because I would say the personality type for people that run the 100-meter hurdles is similar to the people that run the 100 meters, and they make great for like putting up front, So I think you got a good point there.
I got a great point, bro. A great point. Molly, what do you think?
Yeah, huge congrats to Masai. First Olympics to go and win gold is just like you're unshakable. That's amazing. I like the 100 hurdles because like U.S. women, we always have all three there in the final.
Yeah.
It's like we have like such depth there. It's just incredible. So we had good odds going into it. And it was just, oh, great to see the French girl, the French
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
Like I felt like the stadium went crazy for her. She seemed really surprised. Like I wasn't following her season, but I think she really like pulled it all out today. So that was crazy.
That
What's been
that
crazy about the hurdles too, Joshua, over the past couple of years is like the world record's been exchanged
Hmm.
back and forth. There's always somebody new. At first, it's like, oh, is Jasmine Camacho Quinn like the dominant
mm-hmm.
person now? Then Toby Usman, she breaks the world record. Then you always got like, Kenny didn't make the team this year, but then
But
you
she's
got like
always
Kenny
around.
Harris. Yeah, so there's always different people up top and battling, which makes it really fun to watch too.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like that race was so fun too because I feel like Jasmine Quattro Quinn doesn't have like the greatest start. It seemed like she almost flinched, to be honest, when I was looking at it. But like you just didn't know who like finished. You didn't know who won, and
Hmm.
like that. I thought the French girl was like if she would have won. I don't even. She was already bawling, crying for the silver. But like imagine if she would have got gold. Like that would have been just crazy. But I'm curious for you, Molly, about this because we were talking about this other day. Don't you think they should have been doing a little bit more production for like these races, like how they did for the men's 100, and
Yeah,
we
like
only got that once?
who picks the 100 to be like, I guess because you're the fastest person in the world technically for the 100, but you could definitely do that with more events for sure. Like the
Yes.
glow sticks only came out twice the whole meet.
Yeah.
So why not do more drama, make it, I don't know. Yeah, you definitely could do more for the other events. I like the bell. I did want to say that. I liked that they
Hmm.
had the bell because like there's so much going on when you're in the stadium. It's cool to like make everyone look and say like, hey, someone just won this event, like in case you were like looking at some other event, especially for field events. So that was a nice touch. But they could have done more.
Yeah. I'm just curious, how can we like implement that into even distance races just some way because like but I do like how we have well not for the 5 and the 10 and stuff they didn't come through the entrance, right? They didn't come through the entrance for the 5 and 10, right?
I
They're
don't think
already
so.
they're already out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're already out there. There needs to be something that like we can implement. Like if it's lights, if just put lights or something, change it to just give them
Yeah.
a little bit something, a little bit sauce.
I mean, you could even, yeah, for distance events, like what if they just turn down the lights, you know, and right before the start or something? I
Yeah,
don't, as they're walking through the people and maybe you
or put a
introduce
spotlight
like
on each person, like as they
put a
like just as they
spotlight
go
on
through the
like
line.
That would be
the
cool.
top
Probably.
5 people because it's like so many people within a distance race or something.
Yeah, yeah. Something I think something there's, but I'm happy that there's
Well,
people we're trying different stuff. Like the men's 100 was cool, but I'm all like we could do that more often. Like at least try.
hey, and I know we gotta get into the marathon, but that's what we can bring LA 2028. Okay, everyone is like, yo, LA is not pretty like Paris, but you know what's in LA? Hollywood, bro.
Hey,
Movies. That's
entertainment
what
capital of
we
the world.
exactly. So don't underestimate that it's the entertainment capital of the world.
Mhm.
There definitely can be something. There's gonna be some innovative and fun things I feel
Yeah.
like in LA that well only that we can do out here because that's what
Yeah.
we do.
They should have celebrities like firing the start gun and like giving out the medals and stuff.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. That would
It's
be
just
I
like
fun.
mean,
Ryan Gosling firing the start gun and like
No.
just like every all the big stars.
we already got Snoop doing his thing over here in Paris. Imagine what's gonna be like when everyone's here in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see, and then we'll get to the marathon. I can't wait to see like the Memorial Coliseum, just like with the track in it. Like I remember going there for a football game to see the Rams play the Seahawks, and like to see that filled with like a track because they're gonna renovate it too. But just like that stadium is so big, and I have to imagine that's how the Stade de France seems because that stadium seems huge as well. How does London feel running there, Molly?
That was like amazing. Like probably I wonder if this was similar. Like I'd love to ask some athletes if it was similarly like so loud and so crazy because like London was just like they have such track fans there. Like I felt like everybody came to the track in London. Like it was full. There was like flashing lights the
Yeah.
whole time for distance events, like just like camera flashes the entire half hour or 15 minutes. Like people didn't stop. And it was just so loud that like you were just like your brain was like, what is this noise? It's not people making this noise. Like I've never heard this before. Like I didn't hear this at World Champs. I didn't hear this ever before. So yeah, I have never experienced a meet like London Olympics before. Rio, not that many people came to watch, but I bet this was like super loud. So
Yeah.
it's kind of it's like an overwhelming energy.
Where it makes you more nervous or like more anxious
You're
or
just
like
like it's just like so much energy going through your body. You're just like, I don't even know what to do with this. Like this
uh
many people yelling and yeah, cheering. It's crazy.
there we go, there we go. All right, your bread and butter, the women's marathon, is going on tonight or the next morning for Paris. It's going to be a super exciting race. We have some of the best women in history coming out for this one. It's going to be historic. And then we have Sifan Hassan running her third race of the weekend. And we have Emily Sisson, Dakota Lindworm, and Fiona O'Keefe all competing in the Olympic marathon as well. What are you looking for tonight in the Paris Marathon?
Oh my gosh. Well, watching the men today kind of gave some insights that like we heard this course was really hard and it's going to be really hot, but they didn't slow down that much. Like they still set an Olympic record. Like 2:08 is still a great time for Connor and Clayton. So I think you got to be ready. Like I kind of was looking at the start list and I was like, oh, like I know Sifan's done a couple events. Like, I feel like you need fresh legs for this course, you know? Like, it's a tough course and they may or may not slow down. Like, it might just go. We don't know. So, I don't know. Well, it's going to be a little hotter tomorrow than it was today. So that maybe the women will slow it down a little bit. But you have world record holder in there. You have former world champions. You have like some 216, 218 women. So I mean, it's just whoever feels the best on that kind of a day. Like the course is intense, so it's just going to come down to who's holding it together. Yeah, I mean, Obiri's won everything she's entered, so that's kind of to me like the person you got to beat is Helen Obiri, even though she doesn't have the times, but she's won on hard courses. Like she's done Boston, she's done New York. Um, I think she's going to be like the one to challenge, but there's a lot of good women in there. So you hope one of the Team USA women runs really smart and can pick off a medal because you know we watched Molly do it and it was just
Yeah.
in 2021 it was like so inspiring, but like it just comes down to the day. So we'll see what happens. We have, I mean, Emily's run like 218 as well. Her name is in that mix. Fiona looked like she could run 218, you know, at the trials. Dakota's really good on like tough courses. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering because like when Molly did it in 2021, it was like I think it was like a super hot day and everything too. So she kind of snuck up and surprised some people. So I'm like, maybe there's a chance, we could sneak in there. Orlando was hot. Orlando was very hot. So it would be great. It would be great to see us grab one more medal. What would it mean if Stefan Hassan gets a medal in this? Like, I don't even know. I don't know where to
Her
put
huge.
Stefan Hassan at. Like, I don't. It's like, I mean, she's gonna be remembered as her own like separate thing, but I don't even know where to put her in the rankings of like GOAT and stuff. But she just does insane things.
Yeah, I think that's where you put her. Someone who
Yeah,
just
She's in her
Tries what she
own.
said. Like, I don't know if this is possible, so I want to try it. Like, that's just what she's like. So, I mean, we'll see. Like, you never count her out. I know I said, oh, like, probably you need fresh legs, but like, for Sifan, you never count her out. You know, she'll
Yeah.
go to the back, and then when the finish line comes up, she'll go to the front. So, I don't know. We'll see. I would not count her out. I mean, what would that, that's got to be historic. Like, no one's ever medaled in
They
three
said it.
events at the
Three.
Olympics. Have
They said this dude Emil Zopek in like
they?
a
Oh,
long time ago. I
I don't
think
think
he
he
might be the
medaled though.
only person.
In the did he
He didn't
medal in the?
medal. He just
I
did
don't
all
think he medaled
three.
in the 5 and the 10, but I think he won the marathon.
Mm.
I think
okay.
that's what happened.
It's
But
different times, so it
yeah,
would still be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
more
yeah.
impressive.
this would
But
be this would
I
be
agree.
insane. And like, uh, what I really think Helen O'Berry is gonna win. I think Helen O'Berry is gonna win this race. Being Tamarat Tola won this. He won New York City, I believe, in 2023, and has those chops of like winning races most recently too. I think that's gonna give Helen a lot of an advantage for her, someone that's experienced. I think Paris is gonna have a really good chance because I think she's just a winner as well. But one thing about Safana Sans, I like remember her first race, like she stopped. She stopped in the London Marathon
Yeah.
and came back and won. So like if the race is fast, I think because we are talking to Meb and it was like they could take her legs, but I feel like even if it is fast, she may just be like in a different mental space. I don't know, but it will be interesting to see like after the halfway point because I think that's when the hills start coming in after like halfway because when they're running the downhill like this morning and like I saw Connor going down it, I was like, this is like a cross country race almost. Like they
mhm.
those down uphills, the downhill especially was really steep this morning. So
I also
we'll
feel
see.
like Sharon got a chance, man. Sharon, Loki, she's always right. She's always battling Helen, and she's beat Helen before too. And she's done New York and Boston. Always is up in contention. So I feel like she's she's someone that is gonna get. I feel like she's in medal contention, or if like someone falls up because she doesn't have, the crazy like 218 time, but she's shown that she can compete well on these hard courses. So I'm a fan. So I'm excited to see what she does too.
And Molly, what makes since you trained with Emily before, what makes Emily Sisson a bit different, and what should we watch out for her tomorrow?
She's just always been really good, like at threshold work, like marathon style workouts. Like even in college, like Ray knew she was going to be a good marathoner because she would just do so well on those workouts. And she's like really good at focusing too. So I feel like that's what I struggle with 26.2. I'm just like, oh, like I need like laps or something. Yeah, she's really good at just like the laser focus, and she's a good heat runner. So
Mm.
a lot in her favor for sure going into tomorrow.
And then with someone like Fiona, who's like just coming off the track, like, do you think does that give her more confidence of being going into the unknown, or just knowing that she has a little bit more speed? What is it kind of like when you first get off the track and you're kind of doing your first couple marathons?
It's kind of weird because I feel like for some people, they run their best marathons as their first couple. And I wonder if it's because you're coming from like that faster background. And so you like the paces just feel easier. And then once you get used to marathon training, you kind of need to like freshen up a little bit from time to time. So, it's a scary place to be because you're like, I haven't proven that I can do it. But sometimes you are just like your best marathon self in those first couple ones. I mean, I would say Fiona's a marathoner too. Like, it worked for Molly, in
Yeah.
2021. So, just gotta lean into your strengths. And I think marathoning is her strength. And so maybe she'll just feel at home there right away.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna be rooting. Man, there's a lot of people to really root for her. Fiona's
I
from
know.
California, so like, gotta root for her. I love Emily Sisson, so gotta root for her. Helen O'Beary's a beast. Safana San's crazy. Like, Aaron, there's so many people to root for.
No, I think this race is gonna be good. I did watch the men's race last night, and it was brutal. It seemed pretty brutal with one guy just took it out pretty hard early on, and he
Yeah,
fell
yeah.
back and died, and then it was like a war of attrition. So I'm wondering if this race is gonna go more similar, or are people going? Because I feel like even Connor, he kind of went up there too soon. It's like, are people going to hold back a little more, and we're gonna see a closer race in those last like 10K? So we'll see, because there's a lot of fan favorites, but there's just a lot of players, man. Just like we're talking about with the 110 hurdles, how many different people have held the world record in this race? Like probably three to four different people have held the world record in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's gonna it's gonna be interesting.
And then before we close out, I am curious, Molly, like when do you think these women like have made their game plan? And do you think after seeing the race play out like the morning before, the day before, do you think they're changing their game plan at all? Or is that may could be unreasonable of anything?
They probably made their game plan around the weather because I mean that's all you can really do. Like once they learned the course, and then maybe a few adjustments once they saw what the weather was going to be. I mean that's all you can really do as far as aside from getting as fit as possible. It probably did help to see how the men's race played out and how it wasn't as slow as like you thought it might
Hmm.
be. Definitely helped to see them crawling up that hill though, because like just to be prepared. That's what it's going to be like. So yeah, I don't know if there's going to be dramatic shifts. Like maybe if anyone crazy scratched like
Yeah.
tonight,
Yeah.
you might like if Sifon's out or something like that. But yeah, I'd say they probably wouldn't change a ton going in.
And then last will be my last question on the marathon. What does it mean for you, being someone as a marathoner, has grown into women's distance running, for the women's marathon to close out the games? Essentially, I believe is it won't tomorrow be 40 years since Joan Benoit Samuel's marathon win in LA at the first ever Olympic women's marathon, and now getting the chance for this to be closing out. Just the evolution of women's running has been so great. Like, what does this all mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's just like if you look back 40 years and who was there and what they had to go through to get there. And then I think her 40th anniversary was sometime this week. Maybe it is
Mm.
tomorrow. It was at some point this week. It's just been, I mean, we're at 211 now for the world record. Like, and we just have like a long list of women who could win this. It's just amazing. So yeah, it's special that that'll be the last thing everyone remembers is the marathon. Even though I'm sure it was really hard for all these women to wait, through the whole Olympics and watch everything. That's pretty special.
No, absolutely. That has to be a little bit of angst, though, a little anxious thing of waiting the entire Olympics, but on the last day you get to be the main event. That is, it's definitely something special for all women across the world. But thank you, Molly, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Hope you have enjoyed the Olympics and all, and yeah, we love hearing your analysis and everything.
Yeah, thanks for letting me track nerd out with you guys. And it was a great Olympics. Like it was so fun to watch. So I definitely want to be there watching in the stands in 2028. So I'm gonna like start booking tickets now or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
man.
Aaron, anything else before we get out of here?
No, thank you, Molly, for joining us, and thank you to everyone that's joined in live, or if you've been listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube. We appreciate you all having the Olympic experience with us. I hope you all had it fun listening in, and thank you to all of the guests, every single guest that came on throughout these 10 days. We really appreciate you all making the time to just track nerd out with us. You know what I mean? It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, but we got to get some rest, y'all. We probably won't have a podcast on Tuesday, but appreciate
Never say
everybody's
never.
support.
Never say
Never say, I
never.
guess, yeah, never say never. We'll get a little break because we've been going every single
Oh
day.
no.
So maybe we could do it on Tuesday. I don't know,
Hey, this women's
but
marathon, they may just break the world record, bro. They were, you know what I
that's
mean?
true. If
So
they break the world record, we
We
have
might
got
need a
to
whole
come back. We
podcast for that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we got to come back on. If they run 209, I mean, we have
Imagine.
to record a
On
podcast.
that course, whew,
Yeah, like
we'd have to talk about
we
it.
could we couldn't leave we couldn't leave you all hanging if that happened.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
never
But
say never.
thank you, Molly. We'll see y'all next time. Let's get it. Oh, I gotta
See you
play the
guys.
outro.